Good morning, ladies. All right, my high voice. Hold on here. I did not realize, as my finger is in you, sorry, that 2 ears is too much. Good morning, welcome to day 3. I'm so excited. So I didn't know I could play Spotify and be live on Facebook. That's crazy. If you guys could hear that, that's kind of cool. But since I can't tell, let me know. Wave, say hi. I think that's the only way I can see you guys pop up. I'm not sure what the algorithm is, but welcome to day 3. I feel like on day 3, I should be in like Wednesday. So this starting on a different day of the week is kind of interesting because one of the things that I'm working with personally is the days of the week and how they correlate with the moon cycles and just where we are and all that. So I can see that my lighting is a little funky, so bear with me. I'll try not to either move around too much or stay focused because it is a gorgeous day. So good vibes today, ladies. I am loving the tea selection. Like now I have more tea. I had plenty of tea, but now I have more varieties of tea. So I'm just going to start it out with today. Again, thank you, Hannah. If anyone out there knows Hannah at Tea Exotic. Her teas are definitely top quality. I also have another gal, friend of mine. I don't think she's in here right now, Megan, who owns the Loose Leaf, and she's out of Oceanside right now. So if you guys are in Southern California, look up the Loose Leaf. She is at the farmers markets everywhere. I love her tea. We work together, gosh, it's almost 15 years now. And man, she is a master herbalist, let me tell you. The healer. Oh my gosh. I might need some peeps to see. I'm going to have to read this to you later. Yes, that's what it is. Okay, so the lemongrass is coming in full. So I am through and through a coffee drinker. I am an herbalist, but I really enjoy coffee. It kind of jams with my immune system. So in the immune system, there's TH1, TH2, and we kind of have this, as all humans, we kind of gravitate towards one or another, but let's just get started. Immune system later. That was Tuesday. That was day 1. So today we are talking about our intellect and our intuition. And this is such a big topic. Every one of these is such a big topic, ladies. And I'm super grateful that you're here with me. I'm super grateful that you're interested in owning the awesome that is within you. So when you think about it, breaking down the word awesome, awe is in there. And I will tell you, when I came through we'll call it an awakening, when I started coming to know myself better, I felt that every day I woke up, I was awake and in awe, actual awe of what this world was and who we were in it. And that is one of my goals for you. This may be a lot for some of you guys. I know sometimes I come on a little bit, it's the Leo in me. I come on a little bit intense, but it's okay because you can take whatever it is that you want from any of these days that we're having together. And like I said, if you just take one nugget forward and you figure out what that is for you, like that is incredible because we all have our own path. I'm just here to open things up. It's kind of like when you're pulling the sliding glass doors together, if you have 2 of them and you have one side coming in and the other side coming in. A lot of times we look at this as where we are pulling out of our past and bringing it to center. And then again, our worries, our thoughts for the future and bringing them together and being in here, in our now, where we are right now, because that is everything that we are. So when we talk about what we're doing with, sorry about that. I'm gonna have to grab my peepers really quick. I'm sorry, I'm gonna leave you. Hi, Sarah. Sarah, I have to talk to you, girl. Hi. Okay, you get my crazy peepers today. So let me just lemongrass, sweet rubius, orange. Oh yeah, the vanilla is one of my favorite. All right, so that's my tea. Just to let you know, you guys, the lemongrass is amazing, and you'll see it anyone who goes to Thai restaurants, and it's in our food. It's all over. Like, you think about it, when we start to realize what is in our lives, even if it's unintentional, it's there for us to see, and we'll start observing it as soon as we start to recognize it. That's what's cool. Oops, I gotta take my glass off. Okay. So here we are, day 3, intellect and intuition. And here's the weird part. I'm going to pull that together for us and call it intuitive intellect. It's actually a thing. All right, so people who listen to their intuition can connect with their true selves, including the past experiences, emotions, and that sixth sense that helps you reach creative solutions. You know, the perception is that we always have to fix something. There's so many self-help books. The self-help books are really there to help us and have other people's experiences or even their expertise give us some guidance. There may not be something to fix every day. So I was having this conversation with my daughter this morning. She's like, Mom, I have this day and I should be doing something. What should I be doing? I'm like, well, what do you want to do? You know, you have a day. It's kind of awesome. You don't have to do anything. Sometimes you can just go out and explore. That's true with you, your person. You can just be and explore. And some of those days are really your self-care days or your self-love day. If you plan a full-on self-care day and it becomes stressful, you've kind of defeated the purpose of that. But how do we embrace those things within us? So listening to our intuition. So if you guys have the form, hopefully you've, I'm going to pull all of these together at the very end and put them all in one document, but you're welcome to, hopefully you're just looking at them online. And there's no special colors or crazy things right now, because I want you to be able to print them if you want. Like, one of the things for me is every time I go in to print something, it has 80,000 colors, and my printer just isn't built for that. So, good morning, Kelly. You have awesome art. Thank you very much. Okay, so in its simplest form, intelligence is the head thing and intuition is the heart thing. That's as simple as it gets. So if you're out there and you're aware of a lot of the practice of and studies of heart math, which is in Santa Cruz, California, which is really near where I grew up, they talk about coherence. And coherence is really about aligning the head and the heart, because they are two different things. We have this thinking process, and intelligence is one of those things where it comes from your learning experiences. It comes, some of it can come down through from hereditary, because your learning experiences that were passed down in your family as well. Maybe those are learned experiences from outside. This is a lot of where our core belief systems come from. So I keep pulling some of these things back in. You'll hear the same terms every day if you're not familiar with these. We wonder, why do we think what we think? Where's the thought formed? When thought becomes feelings and actions, you know, these are what the things that we are made up of. And so this is the development of our reasoning. We aren't just born reasoning. In our way of communication. So this is our physical mind, right? And our natural instinct is kind of our second nature, our learned second nature. So this is why when we're talking about self-improvement, self-responsibility, self-awareness, we're opening ourselves to understanding how we came to be like this. And or if we're not happy where we are, for example, I had a client who is just I think she was born angry. Like, that's what she said. I've always been an angry child, an angry teen, an angry young adult, and now I'm angry as an adult, and how that's impacting her life, her nutrition. You know, most of the stuff for me has come out of practicing nutrition and how it impacts the physiology and biology of our bodies. And it's so much bigger than just the physical. So it's fascinating, ladies, and we are fascinating, which makes us awesome, right? So our second nature, and if you have done any kind of transformation, you know that as soon as you made the decision to change it, your will was enacted and you did it. It may not have been easy or simple for that matter, but the choice was made and you did it. So the head in our thinking process, right, of our learned experiences, or our learning and experiences, because I think we keep learning and of course we keep experiencing. Our heart is our intuition in here. So this is our divine instinct. So instinct kind of is sandwiched in between, right? Intelligence, instinct, and intuition. This is our knowingness, our feelings, our intuition. Now remember, you are not necessarily all of your emotions, but you do feel them. And so sometimes I think that we get discounted in the fact that just get over it, or it's all in your head, or, you know, some of these comments that I know I've heard in the medical industry to me personally, and to, you know, people that I've seen in my office. So you do have feelings and you do get to validate them. What you do with them is that becomes your personal responsibility. And I think that's where it's important. And a lot of times we don't understand what to do with that, or we just haven't learned or been exposed to that, because the role models that we had, they either just, we didn't understand the process, or they were different in the fact that the communication was lacking. So our intuition, our spiritual perceptions, looking within ourselves. So a lot of this, you know, comes out of the know thyself, and that is in body, mind, and spirit. In body, mind, soul, spirit, I kind of look at it as, because I kind of look at soul as including part of our personality, our character that is here on earth, where our spirituality is free flowing. It's free flowing between us and the divine source. So divine source, the creator God, there's many ways, and not every, you know, we're talking spirituality in here above religion. Not that it's above it. I think they come alongside each other. It is not to discount that there is one religion different or better than another. It is your experience and your beliefs and your choice. So where you are in that journey is exactly where you're supposed to be, so that you can either dig into where you are or explore. And that's the beautiful thing about it, because it's amazing. It's amazing to look at how the different religions actually come alongside of each other. So that's what makes the world to have the opportunity for harmony. All right, so we're going to combine that intuitive intelligence. Okay, so this is the coherence. So we have to be able to take that awesome mind that we have, that awesome experience that we have, the learning that we've spent so many years coming into, and calm that into a place where you are in, I don't want to say you are in control, but we're calming the monkey mind. We're taming it. Has anyone ever seen that little meme with the little dude over here and all the crazy stuff above their head, and then how they're looking at the world? And then there's the calm one over on the other side, and it's just like, wow. But I did have somebody tell me once, when I finally sat in my chair, had this awesome chair that they loved, they sat in every day. And it was awesome because it was big, high backed. It had this representation of, I'll say kingly, because it was a man, but that's what just came up for me. After 6 months of sitting in that chair every day, whether they were engaged in a meditation prayer session or not, they realized everything around them was so busy and noisy, and they found that center. And that's really what we're looking for when we're doing this kind of this deep work, this deep emotion and commitment to meet our intuitive knowing at the deepest possible level, right? It's not about reasoning our way into it, because you could talk your way into anything, talk your way out of anything. But it's about knowing how to listen to our unconscious and our emotions. So we're diving into what might be known as shadow work. It's known as shadow work across the board as far as I can tell. So maybe if anyone has some experience in this, and it's and you have a different understanding of what that is. We talk about the alter ego as well. We talk about this is going to fall into some of the psychology. As I'm not a therapist, just to let you guys know, like I don't treat, diagnose, or prescribe in any of the forms that I coach, consult, or counsel. So just probably could have started out somewhere with that. But there are people that do. And so I do work with some of those people, and we are on a peer level, which is amazing because we can talk about some of these case studies. I have been a case study person, practitioner, I'll say, for all of the years that I've done this, because there's theory and then there's actual practice, and that practice is clinical practice. What is happening in there? There's also our personal experience and how we relate to that personally, because we are a testament to where we've been and where we want to go. So it's pretty amazing. Getting to know ourselves, right? This is our shadow work, our true soul self. A lot of times, we are not always ready for where we're going with that work, but you usually don't start that work unless there's a trigger, unless you want to go there. A lot of these things stem out of our childhood, and many things we suppress. They could be teeny tiny events that occurred. I was talking with my daughter about something that happened in kindergarten. Kindergarten for her. I didn't realize what it was, but all of these years later, it comes up in a different form. It's the interpretation that she had of that event at that time. And whether she cares about it or not, it made an imprint in the amygdala, in her psyche in there. And she keeps repeating a cycle when that trigger comes up. So it's really interesting because the amygdala work is fascinating if you're out there. If anyone does the happiness or the positivity aspect of psychology or philosophy, it's fascinating. There's some amazing things to do, but you have to think about this. The amygdala is one of those places in our brain, anything in our brain actually, you can't touch, right? We can touch organs, we can massage things and legs and muscles and joints, but the inside of the brain in there, we can't quite get to it. So how do you flip the switch on that amygdala? And this is where we go from fight or flight to rest or digest. How do we maintain that? Most of the time it's through our breathing. I love the Tibetan monk style of breathing, or there's a couple of other different ancient styles of breathing. You're breathing through the nose. There's actually a little gland in here, and the breath comes in and exhales through the mouth, right? You're in through the diaphragm. There's like this circle that's happening, and they might call it circle breathing. They might call it, there's many different things that I've seen it called. So we haven't even talked about breathing in here. I don't know, we'll get that deep. That's kind of my jam. I love breathing exercises. I love to see people breathing and coming into their body through breath. It is the one thing that we can do to regulate us. It's free. I love that part. Like most of the things I'm talking to you guys about are accessible to anyone at any time. And that's the way I think it should be. Okay, so getting to know yourself on a soul level. You guys, if you have any questions, pop them up. I think I can see you, so that's awesome. As we get to know ourselves, some of you in different industries. So when I was in banking and finance, we all had to go in and take the Myers-Briggs type indicator test. Anyone else? Do you all know what you are? Sometimes we identify ourselves by that. Sometimes you can flip-flop in that. It's a very interesting observation of our personality types. So if you haven't taken one and you want, underneath today's PDF, I will link some. You can go out on the internet and take a free test. You can take the long version or the short version. You can take the paid version. I've never taken the paid version, or maybe I have, but it was through a company. There is the Enneagram, and where you fall in these areas and how they relate. You kind of have a wingman, and again, we're talking about where our traits are from how we act and how we think. So that intellect. The Personality Plus is a Christianity version, and it includes the choleric and the melancholy and I can't remember the last two off the top of my head. Phlegmatic, which to me just always because I was a mucusy kid, it's not something that always is like, ooh, I want to be that. But it describes different things within your character. And then we also have the archetypes, and those are the Jungian archetypes, or Joseph Campbell's, as we move along our hero's journey, that might fall into that category. So it's super exciting because you kind of go into this discovery of where do I fall in these observations of where I am from that perspective. And if you haven't done any of that, I encourage you to do that. This is also kind of where astrology comes in. It's not just our sun sign, but it might be our ascending, our node, there's 4 of them, our rising, right? These are the things that we look at from the perspective of plants to planets, and how we can connect some of those things as we're born into this particular planet, and what time it was and what part of the earth you were born into. So again, it's fascinating. What was I just reading on the zodiac? Oh yeah. So I'm just going to jump down a little bit to our in Revelation 12:1. And there appeared a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun and the moon under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars. Okay, so you guys, this entire passage of Revelation 12 is amazing. So I just want to let you know too, I'm not just in here saying, okay, there's a few things we can tie together. I've actually done a fair amount of my own personal work and study within here. So let me grab, I have a couple books I wanted to, I'm sorry, I should be way more prepared. Everything next to me. I just want to do this outside today, but. So when we look at that, the crown of 12 stars, we start looking at where the numbers are. We have astrology, the number 12, the apostles, number 12. In the chakras, you can find within the Bible correlations along the 7s, right? The 7 virtues, which kind of come over the 7 deadly sins. And when you look at those along each other, you can look at how those kind of correlate together. They're not just things to kind of fly out there. They're actually applicable to your life on a daily basis. That doesn't mean you have to go in and line all these things up every day, but just being aware of them is really amazing. So, yeah, I had to sit on that one for a little bit. So there are some things that we have to look at. So one of the things that was disappointing for me as a young Catholic was that when I found out there were multiple versions of the Bible, and when we say the Bible is the word, then I wasn't really sure which word I was supposed to be following, because in some of them they have more books than others, or not. So the second thing it wasn't a direct account of writing as it happened. Okay, and that is not to say that is the guide, because the Bible is by far one of the most amazing books on this earth. I just think that while you're working through it, how you interpret it is really important, and who you interpret it with. So that is just how I'm going to go with that. Within that, there are many things to talk about, because parables are huge in there. So it's always like we're always not, we're talking in the sense of discovery, and I think that's pretty amazing. So the healer tea, we're releasing attachment. Okay, so metabolism and homeostasis. So at the very first day, which seems like a long time ago, we talked about homeostasis being one of those pieces when we're relating it to our physical body. And Maslow's hierarchy, right? Homeostasis is at the bottom, right there with nutrition and shelter and air and breathing. So when we're looking at the body from a homeostasis perspective, that's why it's so important, above and beyond trying to just work with symptoms only. We want to work with the whole body at the same time. What is relating to what? It's not a specific organ or body system, which there are 12 of on the body systems, but it does have that much of an impact overall. So I use a bioimpedance scanner with some of my people, and we look at where you are with your basal metabolic rate and how that impacts the rest of your body. So I like to see everybody really close to that, 1 or 2%. I've never seen anybody right on in all the years I've used it. But when you're closer, like instead of 8% or 5%, those difference of degrees make a difference. That's you being in balance with yourself internally as well, right? That cellular atomic level. Okay. Our crown chakra, which I forgot to put the color, right? So that is our white, our crown. We're talking about the crown on her head with the 12 stars. There's a gleaming, glistening connection. This is where we connect with that which is above us. So I'm going to throw in here just a little quickie. In this time of planetary evolution, we have come to know that we're reactivating a 12 chakra system, not just our 7. That doesn't mean 7's not important, because those are still our main wheels or our main energy centers, and why we need to clean and activate them and keep them moving efficiently. And now we're connecting a couple of different chakra levels in there, and how they connect us even deeper to heaven and earth. So it's pretty amazing. It's pretty amazing, this heaven and earth thing, this as above, so below. Connection, trust, expansion, and oneness. All right, essential oils, because who doesn't want to wake up and smell amazing things? So my favorite one, you guys, which isn't even, I don't even think, it might show up on day 5, is lavender. Lavender has so many properties for so many reasons. It's kind of like the aloe vera of its own world, right? Aloe vera is kind of like the all healing, if you will. Lavender is so amazing to smell, to wear, to have around your home. What is it in France? They use it in the windowsills to keep the scorpions away. I mean, that's kind of important, I think. But we also use it to calm. It's unnerving. It calms the nervous system, which is why we use it when you walk by. If you ever walk by and it's, you're outdoors, you can say hello to the plants. You just give them a little handshake, a gentle rub. Smell them. Say hi to them. That's the herbalist in me. If you've ever taken a walk with me, this is why I do that. It's the same thing with our food. I like to know where my food is. It's kind of like some people use a pendulum or things. I don't know that you need to do that. In your learning phases, people want to kind of hear their higher guidance. I'm not a huge crystal user, but if there's anyone out there that is, let me know how you use it, why you use it. It's of the earth. It should be coming from nature. And when you see it in nature, it's saying hello to you, just like, the different trees and all the rest of the plants and flowers. Flowers are amazing, right? They come into our world, into our path and our pattern, and they're usually greeting us or giving us a message, right? So you go to the florist, you pick flowers. If you're sending them to somebody, they all have a meaning. And I think that's kind of exciting. It just makes it fun. Makes it fun. And honestly, in all of this, we should be having fun, getting to know ourselves. It's like, hello, how are you? Nice to meet you. I didn't know myself at that level. Maybe some of you gals do. And if you do, just let us know, because it's super amazing, super important. All right, I'm going to wrap up a little bit here. But on those essential oils, clary sage is one of my absolute favorite. It is more of a pungent type of smell. Geranium and rose I often mix together. I use essential oils that I don't always have to carry, so I can put them on my skin. Some of the oils out there you can actually ingest. I highly recommend making sure you talk to somebody or check it out before you put anything in your body or on your body. But using them for scents are wonderful. And you want them clean. You want your clean carriers, because you're bringing that into your body. Taking an inhale of anything, it takes 8 seconds. 8 seconds to reach every organ of your body once you inhale that into your respiratory system. And that is why I'm not a huge fan of Febreze things or plug-in things that are chemically made. So that's my 2 cents on that. That healthy, holistic home is really important, because where you put your bleach or where you put your chemicals for cleaning, or what you use for those chemicals on your body or in your home, those are things that you bring into your physical body as well. Okay. Clary sage, we're growing sage because we like to use them for clearing or can't think of the word right now. Clearing, cleansing, clearing airspace, burning, saging. No, I'll remember it after. Somebody want to throw that up there for me. There are many ways to clear your home of emotions or feelings or energies that maybe not are supporting you. And sometimes, you know, when you walk into a room and the air feels heavy, and I say the air, it feels heavy, it's because there are some energies that just aren't flowing with you. So when we talk about raising our vibration, we're raising the vibration of our bodies, our health. Remember, we're going to go back to that atomic level where your cells, proton, neutron, electrons, I think it's, you know, we're spinning at the speed of light internally, and we fall off of that microcosm to macrocosm when we fall off of that line. So our goal is raising that vibration up so that we are in alignment with the cosmos. Super cool. That would be a Nassim Haram. He was in our clinic for a couple years, and just what an amazing experience to learn the physics of it. That was way over my head. Blow your hair back, but that's kind of my interpretation on a really small nutshell, super nutshell, super tiny nut. All right, you guys. Let's talk about the couple of books that I have. So I wanted to say a lot of this is in my experience. So The Fire Within, which is St. Teresa and St. John. Very, very interesting when we look at the chakras and how they relate in Christian mysticism and the impersonal life. And this one is fascinating because this one was written in, I think, 1953. Yeah, something to that effect. I had an original copy that I found in some old bookstore. I was like, really? I picked that up. And 1941. And man, I came across another copy because I left it somewhere, but not without the opportunity to print it out, which, ladies, I mean, there's so many things that we have access to when they come out of print. This is my big version, right? And I printed it out so I could write all over it. Any of you note takers? So in here, this is about the impersonal life, is the step outside of that intelligence between you, your intellect, and your intuition. And so here we're on the key of number 5. The key is to think is to create, or as you think in your heart, so it is with you. So stop and meditate on this, that it may get firmly fixed in your mind. A thinker is a creator. A thinker lives in a world of his own conscious creation. So that is amazing, because how many times do we as women overthink so many things, and none of them are about creating? So what you think about expands, Dr. Wayne Dyer. He was one of my first, I'll call him an influencer in what I was observing in my mind. So there we go. All right, you guys. So this is my little puff here. It says, live with intention. Try to show you guys these things. You can't even see them. But what do you surround yourself with? So when you're looking at your knickknacks and your jewels and your rings, we're talking about the crown. We're talking about those things in your life, what jewelry is on you. You know, all of these things relate back because most of these things come from nature. And I'm going to say it as well when we look at the medical community. All of those things are synthesized and derived from natural ingredients. Now they've come into a man-made version, but in the original days, these were of nature. So they were here with their signatures to help us rebalance the human body. And what we have to do is be a part of that healing process. We're talking about healing. It really makes a difference. We're going to talk about detox tomorrow, which is the one I can't wait to do because it's just one of my jams. But intelligence and intuition. So I want you to think about those separately and bring them together, because the intuitive intelligence coming together, right? Using that instinct, both natural and divine, we're bridging that heaven and earth. So that is you. You get to do that. And that is why you are awesome. The A word is very intense. But I just want to thank you gals for being here. We are Woohoo! Perfect. I was a little long yesterday. Sorry. And if you have any questions, let me know. What else? So exciting. I love that you guys are posting up in the group. I would highly encourage you to introduce yourself. You're here for a reason. And so just say hi. Maybe let us know where you're from. Could have done that in the beginning, but I guess I'm going with the flow. Would love to hear maybe so far what you've loved about these or not liked as much. Maybe the time is the wrong time. But again, I appreciate you guys. I know you're sending me personal messages. If you want to share something that's too personal to be on here, that's okay. I'm happy to talk about these things because I can tell you my personal experiences, which hopefully you have. Like some of them are things that I haven't even wanted to reveal to myself, even though they seem like they're coming out easily. It's scary to look at ourselves. It's uncomfortable to admit that we're not perfect, even though nobody is perfect. It's hard to realize that maybe we could be doing things differently. I know, especially with all of the years of education, when you learn something new, it's hard to go back and say, wow, I didn't do that right, or I was wrong, or maybe it wasn't wrong, it was just not right at the time, is kind of how I look at it. So on that note, I gave my daughter soy milk when I thought it was the right thing, but now I know it's not really good for her hormones as a young girl, nor do I eat soy. That's a personal thing. We're not talking about specific on diets, but this intuition is about learning to intuitively eat. And you might need a guide on the way. You might pick a program that works for you. You might use some macros. But ultimately, what you should be doing is learning enough about your body to know what it needs from an intuitive perspective, because we are not all up the same genetic background, and our bodies don't use food the same. We weren't all born in the same place around the earth. So those things do matter as to how we work. Like our genetic makeup helps us understand that. That is our biome, and we actually have a virome as well. And those are the very small bacterial particles in us, or viruses in us, that make us up at that level. So I guess I could have gone atomic, biome, cellular, those types of things. But all right, ladies, have a wonderful day. It is Thursday, and so I will see you tomorrow on Friday. Let me know if you have any questions. All right, personal evolution gals.